What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So, my review for God of War. As you guys know, I have been playing God of War. I started playing it right after I played God of War 3 Remake. When I started playing that game, I absolutely fell in love with it. So I knew that I had to go into playing God of War. Um, and this game was like 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I was absolutely engaged and in love from the very beginning. From the very, very beginning. I remember feeling it was different, of course, from the remake, from the God of War 3 remake, because it looked different. The controlling, like, the things that you had to do with the controller was different. So I found myself kind of doing that when I started playing God of War. And I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't work this way. So of course, from what I experienced in the God of War 3 remake, getting the weapons, the claws, I think it's the what's the purple one? I don't know if that's like some type of wind or electric shock or something. Of course, the blades of chaos, the axe. So when I started playing God of War and I started to see how he came across these weapons, I was like, oh man. So my experience was just absolutely amazing. I loved the entire story, like the way that it started. It started off really sad with, him unfortunately, losing his wife, and Atreus losing his mom. And he was so serious. And I remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, like he is so stern. He's everything people said Kratos was. And the whole, like, for a while, like, he was protecting his son so much, especially not letting know that he was a god, and not letting his son know where he's from and what he does and what he's capable of. So along the way, things started happening, and Atreus started to kind of see certain things, and just like, whoa, like, how'd you do that? And can I do it? And he wanted to be a part of it so much, but he was so locked in on protecting Atreus, and the whole time calling him boy. He didn't even show any type of emotion. There was one time where I think they were in the water, in the boat, and I think Atreus was sick, or he was getting sick, he was coughing, or something happened where, oh no, I remember what it was. So it was the first time that Atreus had to kill an animal, or he had to kill one of those deer or whatever. And you can tell that he didn't want to do it. And he felt so bad about it after he did it. And you can see Kratos, he kind of wanted to console him, but didn't. And I'm just like, oh, just do it. Like, that's your son. And I was just so like, why is he so savage? Why is he so hard? But it was nice to see them, him kind of schooling him, and then along the way, different stories and lores and things like that as to how gods were and how things became, and talking about the whole, the places that they were at, and him trying to help, and him trying to perfect, his aiming, and using his arrows and things like that. And I just felt that it was just so amazing. It was, everything about it was so impactful. The graphics in his game was absolutely amazing. I loved how detailed everything was. Um, One of the biggest parts for me was when he went and grabbed the blades. Like, that was one of the most epic parts to me. I was like, wait a minute. I knew what it was. So when he went to that little cabin or whatever, and he pulled out the blades, I was just like, is that what I think it is? And I mean, when I tell you, when I walked out through that door with those blades, I went crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. And it felt just as good as it felt when I was playing God of War 3 Remake, but this was just intensified. Um Freya's son, who we later find out is her son, he came out of freaking nowhere. And I remember that fight was so intense too, like the first time him and Kratos fought. And they ended up somewhere else and they had to go through all these things, all the fights, all the enemies. I didn't, I honestly thought that it was going to be fighting the big bosses. I thought that it was going to be harder than it was. It's not that it was difficult, but there were some points where I don't know, like a lot of you saw not too many streams ago where I was in this cave fighting this dude with a sword. And it took me like 3 days to fight this dude. And I'm like, I have fought bigger bosses than this and beat him. Like, what is the problem? Like, that probably was one of the most annoying parts to me in this game, was fighting that dude in that small cave with that sword. I couldn't deal. Like, I was so over it. I was really upset. There was one time where I was just on there for a whole hour trying to fight that thing and I couldn't believe it. But anyway, um I remember feeling like, okay, something's coming, because slowly but surely Atreus started to kind of pick up on things. And then Mimir was another one. Oh, Brock was probably one of my favorite characters. Brock was just so savage. He gives zero F's. Like, he was just so funny to me. His brother Sindri was so extra. He's such a germaphobe, it's ridiculous. But they were fun characters to come across for sure. Um, but Mimir, that whole situation where he went and chopped his head off and he was carrying him around, I was just like, and I've seen him carry him around in the past. I don't know if it was watching Tyrone play, or maybe I saw something somewhere and I'm like, whose head is that? So seeing all of that unfold was pretty cool too. Um, and then when Atreus found out that he was a god, I swear this boy needed a butt whooping, because all of a sudden he thought that he was big stuff, and he's walking around like he's Kratos. Like, I'm a god, you can't touch me. You want to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, if you don't sit down, little boy, you just found out that you were a god. Like, cut it out. So the way that he was talking slick after that, like, was really like rubbing me the wrong way. I was like, oh, who are you talking to? Does he know who he's talking to? But it was fun to kind of see him emotionally and mentally grow throughout the story and everything like that. And you know, the ending was everything. Um, as soon as he finally he needed to, get to the highest peak to, you know, um, spread their mother's ashes. It was crazy to see that when they went into that place, and not only did they find out more information, but his mother was a god too. And I was just like, what? That was like the biggest plot twist. I was like, excuse me? So Atreus is part god, part mortal, and um part oh my god, help me out, y'all. He's got like 3 parts to him. He's a god. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. But he found everything on that wall, and it's like his mother knew his story. And apparently Kratos didn't know about that part either. So when they went up and they got to the highest peak and they went to go spread her ashes, when he turned and called him son, I was like, oh my gosh, my heart. That was like a huge moment right there, because the whole entire time he's calling him boy, and it wasn't until the end when he finally called him son. So that to me was just one of the biggest parts in this whole entire game. So then when they go back home and they come across, I guess they go to sleep and then they wake up, they're woken up by this thing whatever this is. And there's this kind of figure or whatever outside of their door, and whoever that is kind of, Kratos is like, who are you? And he moves his coat and you see the hammer. I was like, what? So everything is set up for God of War Ragnarok. So yes, to answer your question, I will be playing God of War Ragnarok. I don't know if I'm going to start it today or not because I really want to get my hands on Dead Space. Maybe I'll play Dead Space today and maybe start God of War. I mean, maybe start Ragnarok either tomorrow or Monday. I don't know, but I really want to start playing Dead Space. I'm hearing so many great things about it. Um, and just hearing how Tyrone was screaming while he was playing last night, I was like, you know what? There was one time where I went down there to watch him play and I got scared and I didn't even hear anything. Like it was just him screaming, and I love stuff like that. And the fact that this is almost kind of reminiscent of, you know, Resident Evil and everything, you know, I'm a fan. So I kind of do want to start playing Dead Space. So we'll see how the day goes. We'll see what happens. But man, God of War, 10 out of 10 toodles from me. This game in its entirety was absolutely amazing from beginning to end. The storyline, the fighting, the weapons, the intensity, everything was just amazing about this game. It looked amazing, so I definitely can't wait to play Ragnarok. But yeah, leave your comments down below. Let me know if you enjoyed my review for God of War. If you missed any of my gameplay, everything is up under my gaming live stream. So go and check those out. Go see how I did last night when I beat the game. But yeah, and if you did play God of War, let me know your experience. Let me know if you enjoyed it. What did you like about it? Talk to me down in the comment section down below. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel, hit like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later. Toodles!